Hey gamers, so with a new Nintendo generation rapidly approaching, I thought it would be a good idea to talk about some of my dream games I hope come to the Switch 2 slash also maybe Switch 1. Yes, I'm going to be talking about both for this video. I was thinking about doing this as two separate videos, but I realized that I'll probably be mentioning a lot of games across both videos, so let's do it as one single video. So hopefully you don't mind too much. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Now, I should specify that I'm going to be talking about games that don't exist, along with games that do exist that I hope are ported to the Switch 1 or Switch 2 most likely. So like for example, the first game I want to see happen on either Switch 2 or Switch 1. Again, I'm gonna say it's probably gonna happen on Switch 2 because that is the new exciting console. Nintendo and third parties are gonna want to focus heavily on that because of the new power or whatever. But could also see some of these games potentially coming to Switch 1. Anyway, I'm done specifying. So one of these games I hope comes out is a new Donkey Kong game, specifically a 3D Donkey Kong game. There has been rumors about a 3D Donkey Kong game for like a while. I believe one rumor said that it was made by the Mario Odyssey people. I would love to see it. I want to see them do a better version of Donkey Kong 64, which I have not played, but I hear is not very good. But I want to see them tackle another 3D Donkey Kong game. We've had, a lot of 2D games, and you could say, oh, it's been a while since Tropical Freeze, so people want a new 2D Donkey Kong game, but I want to see a new 3D one first, and then maybe do a 2D one after the fact. I think we just need more Donkey Kong stuff, but overall, I really want a 3D Donkey Kong game. I think Nintendo needs some more 3D platformers. Like, they only have, like, Mario, and that's it. And Mario takes so long to come out. Is the last new Mario game was like 7 years ago. Like, come on. And especially with Astrobot now, I think Nintendo needs to step up on the 3D platformers because Astrobot, oh my god, it's really good. So yeah, that's one of my hopes. Again, I see this coming probably for Switch 2, but I mean, I could see Switch 1 as well. But now the next game is a game that does exist, but I want to see ported to Nintendo systems, that being Metaphor and also Persona 3 Reload. I want to see these two games come out on Switch 2 preferably, but at the same time I could also see Switch 1, especially with Persona 3 Reload. I always see people saying like, oh, Persona 3 Reload on Switch 1 or even Switch 2, that it will look blurry and all that stuff. I think it could work really well. Metaphor, I think, will be far more trickier, and I could see that being a Switch 2 exclusive. But I want to see these games on Nintendo consoles. Atlas has been really good about spreading their games across multiple platforms, and it was sad to see Persona 3 Reload not come to Switch. Metaphor, a little bit more understandable because of the fact that it's a new thing, and also it uses a lot more graphics and all that stuff, bigger worlds, while with Persona 3 Reload it's kind of more contained, and also it was originally like a PS2 game, so it could easily run on Switch, at least the original game, and I think the remake wouldn't be too hard on the original Switch. But I want to see these games available on Nintendo consoles. That would be really nice. Even though I have played and beat Persona 3 Reload, I love that game. That was my game of the year of 2024. Still need to finish episode I guess. And Metaphor, I'm like 15 hours into that game. I love that game as well. So yeah, I want to see more people experience these games that only have Nintendo systems. That would be really nice. Also, there's another thing I should have specified. I'm not saying that these games are gonna be coming like on the Switch 2's launch window or whatever. I hope these games come out at some point during the Switch 2's life, or even before the Switch 2 comes out, in some cases, like basically I'm just hoping for these games to come out at some point. Anyway, going back to what I was going to say, I think another game I want to see these games also exist already, and many people have been begging. I want to see Wind Waker Twilight Princess come over to Switch, whether it be Switch 1 as a last hurrah for the original Switch, or have it be a Switch 2 thing, have it be like a Wind Waker 4K instead of HD, that would be cool. I just want to see these games come over finally, because yes, they've been available on Wii U, Wii, GameCube, or whatever, but come on, people have been begging for it to come over to Switch, and there's been rumored to death, like, oh, it's been ready, they're just waiting, which I do think Nintendo does wait for games to release them. I mean, we saw this in Fire Emblem Engage case, where that game was like ready for like 2 years or whatever, or a year and a half before it finally came out, and like you saw this with the DLC that came out really quick. So Nintendo is known to hold back games, and also they did this even before Fire Emblem with, I believe, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, where that was delayed, but it was already finished for like a couple months. So I could see them holding out for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, maybe for one last hurrah for the original Switch, or for like a 4K version for Switch 2. But I just want to see it at some point very soon. Like, come on. It will be perfect for this year, because I don't think there's going to be a new Zelda thing this year. Besides that, Nintendo loves to have a Zelda release every year. 2017 was Breath of the Wild, 2018 Hyrule Warriors, 2019 Cadence of Hyrule, 2020 Hyrule Warriors again, but Age of Calamity. And then I could keep going on. 2022 was the year that did not have anything Zelda related. But besides that, we had Zelda stuff for every other year. Even before 2017, right? 2016 was another Hyrule Warriors, the 3DS port. 2015 was I think a 3DS game. I don't remember. Anyway, the point being, Nintendo loves Zelda releases, so I think we could see that this year, but that's just a hope, because where the heck is it? And I'll also shout out some games that I'm not like hoping for personally, but I know other people are. So Tomodachi Life 2, I would love to see that for the fans, because I've always been kind of intrigued by Tomodachi Life, making your Miis do and say a bunch of weird stuff. Like, it looks fun, but I never experienced the game, and I know lots of people have been begging for a sequel, so that'll be nice to come out, again, as either a last hurrah for the original Switch, or Switch 2 around that launch, that'll be nice. Along with that, like, I don't personally care about this too much, but I would like to see it, is Nintendo Switch Sports, like, resort type thing, where it's, Nintendo Switch Sports, but with new sports, basically like Wii Sports Resort was. I would like to see that, especially because Switch Sports did sell pretty well, all things considered. And they also randomly had the basketball update, recently, so, anything's possible. As for games that already do exist, I know people want, like, Elden Ring, for example, on Switch 2. That would be nice. I don't really care, but, like, it would be nice to have these games available on more consoles, because, there's only people that only own Nintendo consoles, and they never own anything else. It might be hard to believe, but it's true. I was one of those people. I only had Nintendo consoles for, like, the longest time. So, I would love to see these games get brought over to the Switch 2, if they're too powerful, or if they're not too taxing on the original Switch. I would love them to be brought over for that, because again, it's just more consoles and more eyes on that game. Now, going back to games that I want to see that are like concepts or whatever, I would love, again, I've been begging for this, I would love a Xenoblade Warriors type game. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be happening this year because of Xenoblade X Definitive Edition, which is still hard to believe that's coming out this year, and only in like 2 months. Like, oh my god, I'm so hyped. But, maybe next year we could get it. Xenoblade Warriors. I thought it would happen for sure, like, last year, because there's been a new Warriors thing every, like, 2 years, but that was broken last year. So, maybe next year we'll get it. I would love to see it. And then also, while I'm here, remasters / remakes for Xenogears, Xenosaga, that would be very nice. I think these games could come out on the original Switch, even though people are like, oh, the Warriors games suck on Switch because frame rate or whatever. It could work fine on the original Switch. Let's have it have upgrades for the Switch 2 with like better frame rates or whatever. But if they really want to take advantage of the Switch 2, I guess they could do it as exclusives, the Xenoblade Warriors and or remakes for Xenosaga, Xenogears. But I would love them to just come out in some way, on a Switch system. That would be really cool. Should I mention this? Sure, why not? I'll just throw it out there. These are old hacking games, but I want to see them brought over to Switch via like the Switch Online. I want to see the Pokemon stuff brought over to Switch 2. Please, Nintendo, I would love that because I never experienced the original Pokemon stuff besides Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu or whatever, which is a remake of Gen 1. So technically I played that, but I haven't played the original Gen 1 and then also the classic games after that, like Gen 2, Gen 3. I would love to play those games because I always hear they're like the best ones, at least from old people, nostalgic people, but I want to see if that's actually true, if the current games suck, like actually like what people say, or if it's just nostalgia talking. I want to play those games, so please, Nintendo, bring them out. I know these are old games, but that'll be kind of cool to see them, and I gotta bring them up at some point, right, in this video. Oh, here's another one. I want to see Nintendogs come back for Switch 2 because apparently people did some like analysis on the trailer and they noticed, apparently, I say apparently because I don't see it, maybe I'm blind as heck, but apparently there's a microphone you could see on the Switch 2 console. So that would be really cool to do things like Nintendogs, or even bring over some DS games because of that microphone. That would be really cool. So I would like to see a new Nintendogs. It's been a while since we had one. They kind of overdid Nintendogs for a while. Like they did it for the DS and 3DS. They were hoping it was going to be a big thing for the 3DS's launch. But it's been a while. I think they could do a new one. Just make it one simple game though. Don't make it like 3 separate games or 4 games or however you did it on the 3DS, where there was like multiple SKUs like Pokemon, but it was like way worse because it was just like different dog breeds and they weren't even exclusive. They were just available at first, and then like I don't know, just do one simple version and that's it. And on the topic, I guess I'll bring up, I want to see some DS games brought over to Switch 2. I think it could work relatively well with the mouse thing that they have with the 2 Joy-Cons, although I would have preferred, a dual screen. Though maybe that could also be, there's like 2 USB ports, so maybe you could hook up another Switch on the USB port on the top and you could get dual screen stuff. I think that could be a way to get DS games along with the microphone as well that I mentioned earlier over on Switch 2. Switch 1 would probably be a little bit hard, so it might be Switch 2 exclusive. And then also GameCube games, I would love to see them be brought over for Switch Online. I know they're like remastering them a lot on Switch 1, but it could be cool to have it on Switch 2, especially with the better hardware. And I think the Switch 1 could handle it, right? But I think the thing is the file sizes, and apparently Switch 2 is going to be using like enhanced file sizes thing to cut back on the game sizes, like the storage. Like I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but it's like a rumor going on, which again, Switch 2 rumor, it's probably true because every other rumor has been right so far. So yeah, I would just like to see those be brought over. And I mentioned this game idea. A couple of these games, I don't think I mentioned most of them, but there might be a couple that I mentioned them in my 2025 wishlist video that I did like a couple weeks ago. But this is, obviously for games beyond 2025 that I just want to see happen at some point for the Switch 2's lifetime or whatever. But anyway, going back to what I was originally going to say, I would love to see Mario Odyssey 2 and or a Mario game in the style of, Bowser's Fury. That would be really cool to see. I love Mario Odyssey. I think it deserved a sequel. I don't know why it hasn't happened, but it's been so long. I doubt it's gonna happen. So the next best thing is Bowser's Fury. They could expand upon that, make it a full-on sandbox, open world, Mario game. Don't have it be divided by worlds or divided by levels. Take it to the next level, like basically like a Breath of the Wild type thing, but with Mario platforming. I think that would be really cool. But again, I still have hope for Mario Odyssey 2, even though I doubt it will happen. And also, I'll throw this out there because people want it. I don't personally, but in Ocarina of Time, / maybe Majora's Mask as well, like a remake. I'm not saying that I wouldn't like it or it wouldn't be cool, especially if they do stuff like voice acting. That would be nice. Have it be modern controls, but at the same time, a lot of people are hoping for this, and I think it's just I'm kind of tired of remakes, remasters, or whatever. I like ports. I do. I like ports because it gives the same game across different consoles, but like having it be remakes, remasters, especially if it's already available on the current system. Like Ocarina of Time is already available on Switch and by extension Switch 2 because of backwards compatibility with the Switch Online service. And yes, it would be better. It will be full on remake is like what people want, but at the same time, it's just an old game you can already play. And I just rather see them pour new resources into new games. That would be really preferable. But again, I know people would want this. So, and I wouldn't be mad about it. I just think, they could have done something else, like a new game. But gotta throw it out there for the fans. Oh, before I forget, I also want to see hacking new installments and franchises that we haven't seen in a while. Stuff like a Kid Icarus, that would be really cool. Star Fox, I think some of these games could work very well on the original Switch, but if they want to use, again, the extra hardware power, they could have it be a Switch 2 exclusive or whatever. But I would love to see that. I know people also hope for F-Zero, but we did get a new F-Zero, F-Zero 99. I will not tolerate F-Zero 99 slander because that game is amazing. But, a new from the ground up F-Zero, that will be kind of cool as well. Just give us new installments of these classic franchises. Golden Sun, I know, is another thing people want. Earthbound, if that will ever happen. So give us something, or like a full-on remake. I know I've just talked about remakes, like how I don't really care about them. But like, if they want to do something like an Earthbound remake, I will be cool with that. Especially because I believe the original creator said, they're done working on, Earthbound Mother stuff because of the fact that the story was completed. But that doesn't mean they can't do remakes, or at the very least, localized Mother 3. That would be kind of nice. What would they call it, by the way? Earthbound Endings? I don't know. Anyway, I gotta bring that up, just bring us new installments, which I think could work well for Switch 2 because we got a lot of installments on Switch 1 already, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we get maybe some of those on the current Switch, as, again, a last hurrah. I don't think Nintendo will drop the Switch completely once the Switch 2 releases, I know there was, like, a rumor going on that there will be, like, one last game from, like, a niche franchise that will be brought up for the current Switch. But at the same time, I do think, like, there were just also rumors that, like, Tears of the Kingdom was going to be the last major Switch game, and that did not happen because we got, Echoes of Wisdom, we got Mario Wonder, we got Pikmin 4, we got, like there's, like, so many other games that came out after Tears of the Kingdom, so I think that rumor is kind of dumb, but I do think Nintendo is going to keep supporting the Switch for at least a little while after the Switch 2 launches, and I could do it with these games, that I mentioned. But I think that's it for the games I had planned to talk about in this video. Games that either already exist on other consoles or games that don't exist but are just concepts I have. If you have any games you want to see ported over to the Switch 1 or Switch 2, let me know, that I forgot to mention, or ideas for games. Of course, it could also be a new Mario Party game. I think that could work really well, especially because Mario Party is very consistent. I could see it working really well with the new mouse feature, maybe the microphone. I don't know, but that's going to be it for me. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, play some Xenoblade, and I'll catch you all next time for more. Peace. Bye, everyone.